And I stopped letting that in. I was living in fight or flight for so long.
Yeah.
My blood pressure was going up, my health was declining, and I had to actually say goodbye to that, Jennifer. Say goodbye to the person that lived in fight or flight and start my life again. And that's
Yeah.
what I did 3 years ago. Yeah.
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 You have to die. I tell people
You do.
it is one of the most painful things because the blanket that we sleep in when we come into this earth is wrapped up in trauma, and
Yeah.
everybody has different trauma. Some people will be like, you know what, I had a great life. My mom and my dad was there
Mm.
and it was just awesome. And then you start getting deeper and it's like, oh, wait a minute. You
Exactly.
know, so
Exactly.
then a person on the other side is like, we had nothing. I slept on the floor with the
Yeah.
roaches and the rats. Your life was wonderful,
Yeah.
because everybody has
Yeah.
a different
Well,
blinders, but then it's open to trauma.
and
Always.
it's true. And I have 3 sisters, and I've said all my life, if you asked all 4 of us to write a book, it's true. And I have 3 sisters, and I've said all my life, if you asked all 4 of us to write a book,
Yeah.
it would look like we grew up in different households,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Hi, and thanks for joining us at Genuine Collective. I'm here today with LaTanya Askew-Chatfield, and we are having a fantastic discussion about all kinds of things of positive affirmations, positive life, and living your best life, touching on a variety of subjects. And so we're going to get it on with this chat now. We've done a little bit of chatting already, so we'll get on with the chat, and I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, so yeah, it's what you
Absolutely.
take in, what you take on, nurture versus nature, all that kind of stuff,
Mhm,
and coping mechanisms and things. It's really fascinating to me.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And that helped me see, like you said, I have one sister, but then I grew up with my cousins in the house too, so it's two of us. And you see at what age you start to soak up the gravy of the world is what I like to say.
Yeah.
Like, I went to my aunt at 2 months old, and my cousin came to my aunt at 2. My sister came to my aunt
Mm,
at 6. Ideas formed. And then my other cousin came to my aunt at 8. Oh boy, we all had a different life,
wow.
all a different journey. And then today in our late 30s and early 40s, we all have a different outlook on life. And I'm like,
Mhm.
how could you? The same person taught you.
I know. That forever fascinates me. That really forever fascinates me. I'm the second in there's Teresa was my oldest sister, and then I have 2 younger. And I
Mhm,
can see the difference between her role in the family and versus mine.
mhm.
But the other 2, it's, when you're the first, you kind of take on a little bit more, especially my mom
Yes.
left us when I was 13, so she would have been like maybe 15, and she
Mhm,
took on a lot of that, caregiver responsibility, which didn't work well for me because I was so close in age, and for her to try and tell me what to do, it's like, no, that doesn't
mhm.
really work that.
Yeah.
So, uh, with that came a lot of grief between the 2 of us. Yeah, yeah. So I can see why we are totally different, and
Mhm.
the way we perceive things are different. But the 2 that are younger, like, we should all kind of cope the same, but we don't.
Yeah, and that's how you look at the world. Like, everybody lives, like even my neighbors, and I'll meet you. Your perception, your perspective may be different than
Mhm.
mine, but we're still doing the same thing. We're still healing from the inside.
Mhm.
Recognize all of the stuff that's going on outside that we've unplugged our life from, the
Mhm.
distractions that help fuel this trauma inside. But because we have different journeys, we're here to reach. You can't reach all 8 million. I can't reach
Yeah.
all 9 billion. So we need to work together as arm, legs, feet, head, arm,
Yeah.
legs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To just to get it rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, so what are some of the things, do you do any kind of positive affirmations, or what is it you do to try and keep on track with that?
So I'm a channeler.
Oh my gosh, how fascinating.
Yes, I channel information easily and effortlessly. It is my everyday thing. I can't help it. And I used to shy away from it when I was little. A lot of people were like, you can just right off the top of your head. And no matter what it is, I'm a writer. I have 12 books.
Oh my.
I I write. I have about 60 journals. I have my journal when I was 14, And I just know it just always has been there. And every day it's funny because I put the book under here. It's a gratitude book, but I also have
Mm,
a gratitude daily thing. So I have a month outlook for gratitude, but every day I have to choose to be grateful.
yeah.
So I'll get up and I'll say, I'm so grateful for the coffee that I just poured in my cup. And
Mhm.
I know people be like, what? But again, there's been mornings where I got up and there was no coffee and I was just like, or tea, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But then my day is like I'm looking for coffee. I'm looking,
Yeah.
or tea. And I mean,
I
whatever.
gotta
But
set this right, yeah.
yeah, but just little things. And
Yeah.
I do that daily. And then like I say, it's all about writing and just that's my way. And
I
color.
say that it's when you start to recognize how God or the universe has your back and
Mhm.
how you are gifted these little nuggets of just perfection and timing and synchronicity, and when that happens in your life and you recognize that God has your back, it is, makes this journey so much more magnificent. Just
Yeah.
silly little things that happen and that you can say, "Wow, that was divine intervention. That was
Mhm.
magnificent. They just was plopped right in front of me for me, to make my life easier or journey better," or whatever the case may be. It's, when people recognize that, with the gratitude aspect of it, it really does make the journey that much more spectacular.
And also putting your words out there. I teach my children to say certain things before they leave the house.
Mm.
And this is something that I do remind my audience about. I say there's three things. I'm always in the right place at the right time. And if there's danger, I am far from it, right?
Mm.
And then the third thing is all things work for my good, even when I don't see the good. So when I run outside and there's a flat tire, I'm like, good. I had a flat tire.
Mm.
It was the best day ever because I had been looking for my favorite restaurant that has this little seafood salad. I broke down right next to it. I didn't even know it was there. No, like it's
See?
stuff
Yeah.
like that
Yeah,
happens. And so it's
exactly.
like, well, I'm about to go in here and eat this Caesar salad while the
It
man
is
and he
so
fixed the
true. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When you start recognizing that stuff, and yeah, it makes this journey like just an incredible day to day, just like wow, it's like watching a movie. And that's one of the things that I find is hard to understand is when people live vicariously through sensationalistic TV or something that instead of like that could be a little sitcom, what you just told me. I mean, that is somebody else's nugget of like, "Wow, what a great like, that's amazing." That story. Instead of witnessing those on their own, that they have to witness in them from other people, and it's like, "No, no, no, I guarantee you they're happening in your life. You just have to
Yeah.
start looking for them," right?
Yeah, but it's blocked by the things that you just said, right? Most people let someone else tell them what their happy is, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
until you go inside yourself, and like I said, we talked about dying earlier, and you strip
Mm,
down everything. People are scared to face themselves. So when you sit and you face yourself, you're gonna find out what's happy and what
yeah,
brings you peace.
yeah,
And it's not the TV.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch TV. I
Yeah,
love the
yeah,
fix
for
up
sure.
design shows,
Yeah.
but I'll tell my husband, I can't watch these people kill these people.
Oh,
Like
I
that
know.
puts something into my
Yeah,
spirit, and then I go to sleep with
yeah,
it, and then I dream about
yeah.
it, and I'm running
No,
all
I've
night.
I've never seen Game of Thrones. I've never seen any of those. It's like, nope,
Yeah,
nope.
yeah. Yeah, but they
Um,
don't know yet. They don't
yeah,
know that you can design out affirm your day. Today
yeah,
is the best day ever, and now is the perfect time for me to be my best self, and I'm gonna love on me today, and that love is gonna overflow to other people.
mhm.
People don't know how to do that, and they don't believe it.
They don't, and it's funny, what's interesting? Today in my when I tried it when I wake up, was doing a 2-page a day journal thing. I've never done a diary or a journal, but I was doing a 2-page a day, and I stopped that. I just moved and haven't gotten back into that kind of rhythm. But this morning I had some time to think and before I, got my day started. And what's interesting is that what I wrote down today was about stripping away the layers, taking away what you identify as. So, like the teacher, the
Mhm.
wife, the mother, the Catholic, whatever you think you are, stripping those away to get to the layer. How you it's funny how you just mentioned that. And it's like that was the message from this morning. I was like, well, that's just kind of synchronistic.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
and you take away those titles. The day that my journey started in 2015, I've been on a journey my whole life, but this is when I really knew I was up to 300 pounds. I
Mhm.
had this, and they told me I had this incurable disease that I had ever since I started puberty. And I was in so much pain, boils
Mhm.
it was boils under my
Mm.
everywhere. Yeah, and, I had just had my son. The only time I never had it, and this is interesting, is when I was pregnant
Oh, wow.
because the baby was so high vibrational in my stomach, I couldn't be sick.
Wow.
That was something I learned. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, they had just started coming back. My baby was about 6 or 7 months, and I'm laying on the sofa, and I'm like, "What do I do?" And it
Mhm.
said, "1, you're gonna have to get up and live. You're not living. You're not living. The first thing
Mhm.
you're gonna do, and seriously, if you just be still, it's not going out and buying stuff. It's going out and telling yourself that I'm going to choose me today.
Yeah.
And if that's going for a walk, that's going for a walk. So every day from that day on, my children, "Hey, mom, are we going for a walk today?" "Yes, we're going for a walk." And then it just started progressing from then. Then I dropped the titles, and then I
Mm.
dropped all these things that I thought were helping me. And like I said, it's a progression to you,
Yeah.
not to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just like put your mask on first, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
can I touch on that channeling stuff? Because I
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
think that's fantastic. So, do you channel a specific person, or like I listen to a lot of that Quo and those kind of channeler type things. Who is that? There's Quo and who else is there? But yes, I
Bashar.
yeah, that yeah.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
is it a specific person or is it just different people or who do you
No.
channel?
So it's called intuitive channeling. And
Mm,
whereas yes, I can channel many things, the most many it's not so much as people, it's more of a collective. But my specialty is getting on the frequency of your trauma and
ah,
asking you questions that you're going to answer about your trauma. That is my specialty.
wow.
Now, when we get there, if somebody decides to come through, it's not
Mm,
like people will say, "This is the Archangel Michael."
mhm.
No, it'll be your grandma. It'll be it'll be like maybe someone from your spirit team. um, that's what it'll be. And then I'll say, well, someone's here with suspenders on and a hat and a cigar. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's my, and I can see them, not like, it
Yeah, yeah.
with that, but
Mm,
like I say, I can't control, like people be like, I need to talk to my mom.
mm.
Well, if your mom's not connected to that trauma that you're dealing with, or whoever,
Mm.
I won't be able to access her. And
That
she has to be ready.
yeah, 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 right?
She
That
won't
is
come.
spectacular. I know that well, I never had kids. It was a journey that I chose. But I also feel like my job here is ancestral healing. And just last year, and I didn't even realize it was Mother's Day. But I was at the lake doing some meditation and I asked my mother and my grandmother if they wanted, and my sister who I don't talk to, the oldest one, if they wanted to come and join me. But it was, we just had a conversation about moving forward and clearing out these traumas from our child, mostly my mom's, um, and thanking her for bringing me to where I am to continue on that effort that she started, because she didn't get it finished. That's for sure. She had a lot to work on and didn't get through it. So I used to kind of I, I had animosity toward her for a while, and it was through this that I could then flip that around and actually embrace where she got us to and applaud her courage in getting us there. I'm gonna start crying.
Mhm.
My
Well,
mom
that's
and I
good.
have,
You're healing because you're talking about it,
yeah,
and you're
my
doing the
mom,
work.
my mom and I have a lot to work out. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm,
which is really, it's been a great journey and hard.
mhm.
So you make sure I haven't even introduced us yet, but I am recording, so we can snip out some nuggets. We'll do the introduction and I'll slip it in the beginning. But don't forget to text me all of your all of your contact stuff because this is fantastic. I think
Oh,
a service that I would love to utilize. It would be spectacular. Oh
yeah.
my
It's
gosh.
interesting, and I could tell you a little short story. I went walking at this trail one day, and, because my children I walk now 8 miles. I'm just yeah, it's my connection, right?
Mhm.
And, the spirit came, and it was like, "Her." And it was this lady just walking around, and I'm like, "Her? Oh my gosh, this lady does not know me." So I'm a person, I don't meet a stranger. "Hey, can I walk with you?" So I'm walking with her, and we walked for about an hour. And she said, "Can we meet next week and walk again?" She didn't know anything about me. So I'm like, "Fine." So we walk again. And then she said, "I don't know why, but my dad has put a curse on me." I don't know. It just came out of nowhere, and he's dead. And then her dad. This was the first time I ever knew I could do it, really. And her dad immediately was like, he came in with a ball of fire, and he was like, "I did not put a curse on you. I'm mad that all these mediums are telling you that you're cursed."
Oh.
And he said, "I've been trying to tell you to take care of yourself. I've been trying to tell you that to let it go with me." And I told her, I said, "He has a raspy voice." She said he was a smoker. I'm just saying, these are things. And then it freed her from thinking, like she cried the rest of the time, but it freed her. But that was the
Yeah.
trauma she was carrying
Yeah.
around, and the lie that she was telling herself
Yeah.
that was the truth that was turned into the truth. And he was upset because it was stopping her from moving forward.
Wow.
So that's the type of thing that happens.
That's spectacular. That wow, life-changing. And really I could see how it could perpetuate that she would be like I don't know why, because once you get into that spiral downhill mindset, it
Mhm.
just perpetuates. And until someone corrects you, course corrects that, yeah, it would have continued on forever. Isn't that just spectacular that she latched onto you for some reason? She knew you could help her with that somehow.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't her, and that's what I say. I don't choose the people. I'm led to wherever they are, and then I'll hear work. That's the
Mm.
first thing I'll hear. I'll just hear it because I'm clairaudient. So it'll be work. And I'll be like, I don't even know who it is. And then someone will start talking to me,
Mm.
and it'll be, okay, here we go.
Wow.
Deep breath. Let's see what we got working with. And then
Yeah.
I had to learn how to tell them to go away because I had one that stuck with me for 3 days, and I was tired because I didn't know how to, I didn't know, because like I said, I was new at this. I was
Mm.
I was new at knowing about it, but I've always done it. But it's a
S-
different way.
So this special gift that you have, did it cause any division? Did it cause anything when you came out with this? When you came out and told everybody or shared with your friends and family, was there anything that had anyone I don't want to say turn against you, but just like a non-believer? Or was there any did you have to say goodbye to certain people as a result of this, or has everyone embraced your talents?
I almost had to say goodbye to my husband, and it was crazy because he reads in the Bible about Saul and the
Mm,
mediums and those things like that. But I explained to him, when you go into a church, and he's Pentecostal, so there were
mm.
people that would come to their church and they were like, "I see this over your life, and I see this." I said, "Do the same thing." It's it's not even it's not a difference. They're just using it in this type of way. But me, I'm not using it to get your tithe and offerings. But sorry, I didn't even take it out. But
Did you just say that out loud?
I did. But that's another thing. But my family, this is crazy. My aunt, my one of my aunts passed away last year. my aunt that raised me, she's 86. They're older. She was sitting in the room, and then when my other aunt passed, she thought she was in the bathroom. So my mom was furious. She was like, "Why didn't they help her?" 5 months later, that aunt came to me and told me I didn't want to be helped.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave because I wanted to be with my son.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
nothing they could do. So I called them and I was like, I don't know how they gonna act, but I gotta tell them this because they're holding on to this.
Mm.
And my aunt told me, she said, okay, we've had this gift in our family for years. Nobody told me.
Wow.
And I told my mom's like, yeah, your grandmother, your great. I'm like, you know what? This would have been real easy like 12 years ago. We go, so
Yeah.
they know. They are
Mm.
they knew it had to be somebody in this generation
Oh, that's
that was going
crazy.
to continue or just whatever way it comes out. And then my
Mm.
cousin, she's super. She's more prophetic than I am. I'm more about
Oh.
healing. I'm more about you healing.
Mhm.
She's more prophetic. So no,
Mm.
but it took a while for my husband to understand that this is this is my purpose, that I can't run away from it. I don't care what it is. I love you, but I'm the one who has
Mhm.
to lay down with me every night.
Mhm. What an amazing gift it is, though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you have to be able, and then once you choose you, love yourself to life, he eventually is like, okay, I really don't understand it, but I do see that you are, this is what people love you when they meet you and they say you have
Mm.
helped them, random people,
Mhm.
So that's what you don't have to be afraid of. And I'll tell anybody that if you have a gift and there are people that want to fall away from you, let
Mm.
them fall away.
Mhm.
That's a part of that's a part of you choosing the path that you
Yeah.
chose before you came
Yeah.
here. But that's also showing your gift that you're dedicated and it will get stronger.
True. True,
It's a
true.
relationship. And I'll tell any you have to build the relationship with your gift.
Mhm.
you know it was like you said, like not you said, but people say like a rattlesnake, a baby rattlesnake is more poison because they don't know how to control their venom.
Oh.
But then as you get older, they have to learn their body, they have to learn what they're doing, and then it gets a
Yeah.
little bit more, because you're so everywhere you know
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, why do you think then, one of the things that perplexes me is people living their best and the lack of it. And what is it that stops people from that? Um, is it really just a fear of success?
It's a fear of a lot of things, and some of it comes from some of the people that I've coached. Most of it's come from feeling worthy
Mm,
to do so, that they don't deserve it, and they don't know that it's already given. You just have to
yeah.
open up your life to it. I got so many examples. My sister, she loves finer things because my mom lived in this New York in a nice apartment in Brooklyn, but my aunt lived in the South. It was still great upgoing, but we went to thrift stores. We went to, I mean, people gave us stuff. And I'm just the person where I'm just like, we just gonna do enough. See, this is trauma. And you thinking it's okay. We're just gonna do enough to make it, and boom, that's it. My sister is like, no, I want that apartment up there. And I'm like, that thing is
Mm,
like $3,000 a month. I said, but she always gets it, right?
mm,
And I said, why do you always get it? She said, because I deserve it.
mm,
That's the issue. So there,
yeah.
it could be because you're unworthy, you don't deserve it, or it can be a fear of success. I'm going to lose these people if I
Mm,
go into it. So it just depends where you
mhm,
have that pinpoint. So now that's where I'm working. No, it's not just enough. My cup overflows.
mhm.
How can I give to you if my best life ain't lifing? I can't
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you anything.
yeah.
And it's not selfish. A lot of people think it's selfish.
True, true, true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not selfish. To that, to what they're, everybody else, I like to be selfish. And when I say that, I like to sit down and color in my book and tell my children, "Don't you touch my pens. Don't you touch," because that is for me. This is how mommy gets her mind right for you.
Mhm.
You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I need to decom it's 3 of you guys,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I homeschool. So I need some time to get, and they're like, "Well, mom, thank you, but I'm teaching you to choose yourself too.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not eating it all up from you." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's when you start to get that outside selfishness, but you need to be inside
Right,
selfish.
right. Another thing that I feel like people have demonized money and people with
Mhm,
money. Um, and I think that's one of the things too. And I don't think people even recognize that that's a block and that's holding them back.
mhm,
But it certainly is very much a demonized thing that anyone who has an abundance of money is somehow selfish, greedy, whatever they want to label them as. And that's another block to abundance.
mhm. It goes back to the same thing. Like my abundance couldn't flow because I only wanted just enough,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Whereas, like I say, my sister abundance, it's like she'll go and get the apartment and then she'll get 4 raises. And it's like,
Yeah.
what in the, but that's because of the mindset.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's and then someone's told you it's not enough. And like I said, tell that to Burger King, that's next to McDonald's,
Right, 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 right. Yep.
that's next to Whataburger, and every one of their lines be long.
That's right, that's right. Well, that's exactly what I when I do my affirmations say that, I'm, in touch with the abundance of the universe, and when you recognize that there's the abundance is for everybody, and it's staggering. It's like it's there just for the grabbing. It's there for the taking,
Mhm.
and to be in touch with the abundance of the universe because the universe wants nothing but abundance for you, right?
It
For
is
God.
abundant. Are
Yeah.
you familiar with numerology?
Yeah.
So I'm an 8 life path, right? So
Mhm.
when I learned that I was an 8 life path, I look back over my life and I see how that 8 life path worked in my favor. Well, the my generational curse to break is just having enough. See, I learned that,
Mm.
right? Some other people's, like I look at my husband's generational curse and it's to raise a healthy family because he will try to sabotage us. Like and I'm not saying it to make him look bad. It's just like he'll be like, okay, you doing this, then we're not gonna be together no more. You know what I'm saying? But that's because you're here, that hard thing, right? So the hardest thing for me is to say, okay, I have all of this when I just needed this,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
So I have to rewire myself in order to reach beyond that.
Mhm.
And like I say, it's not a struggle, but it's work.
Mhm.
It's work. It's work, right? So
Mhm.
that 8 energy lets me know that I'll always be provided for,
Mhm.
either a lot or a lot less. So when I
Yeah.
look back, abundance what isn't just money. I've
Mhm.
had people build websites for me for free. I've go places and people gave us food. I have people who give me advice. You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying? It's just not
Mhm.
money, and it still pushed me forward where I thought I needed it, but it's just the abundance mindset is being open to all
Oh.
areas
Mhm. Mhm.
of abundance. Somebody
Yeah.
can give you a house, but you got to be on that. You got to
Yeah.
open your life up to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mentioned this in other podcasts. It's a story about that positive mindset. But my sister and I, we lived in it's called the Beaches in Toronto, and it is a really congested area. And even if you have $1 million house, chances are you don't even have a driveway. So there's lots of street parking. That's that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
There's places in New York kind of the same. It's like you spend 1 million for a house, but you can't even have a driveway. But it's just the way it is, and everyone does it. So anytime you had to park on the street, it's I would always be like, I never get a parking space. And my sister Janine, she's like, I always get a parking space. And it wasn't
Okay.
at the time, yeah, it wasn't at the time that I thought about it. It was after when I started doing my positive affirmations. It's like, of course she always gets a parking space. She told the universe she's always getting a parking space. She
Mhm,
dictated what's gonna happen, and I dictated what's gonna happen, and it
mhm.
played true for both of us. Just those little things. It's like, you tell the
Yep,
universe what you want, you go tell it.
yep, that's right. You tell it. Someone said that they're sitting when you wake up in the morning, they're sitting there like, "What can I do for you today?"
Mhm.
And that's why I'm always telling my audience, have you affirmed your day? Have you affirmed your week? Have you
Mhm.
affirmed your finances? Have you affirmed your family life? I said every day, my house is a peaceful and harmonious place where my children laugh and we play games and we love on each other quirkiness.
Yeah.
My kids love to be home. They love it. And when my husband come home, it's peaceful. But like I
Nice.
had to work on that.
Yeah.
I had to work on and know that that's where that we can go into that feminine energy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's working in your feminine energy.
Yeah.
Like what some of these women doing out here, I don't know what is going on.
I know. I say that it really there's certainly a lot of studies and evidence talking about um, the feminism movement and birth control as being the beginning of the changing of the rules. Because again, I can give away my sex freely because I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. That changed thing. That was the beginning of changing how this all works, the dynamic. You think that that empowers you as a woman? No. So, but we didn't see it back then, like it was like, oh my gosh, what a godsend. Look at, we don't have to worry. But yeah, there's like I said, certainly a lot of studies that that was the beginning of the change. And when you think we're hardwired. When you think that every other creature on the planet, their sole purpose in life is to procreate and see the offspring to be a viable entity on their own. Full
Mhm,
stop. That's all they're there to do. And when you think of a male female species, there's hardwiring that talks about that. And I think that's one of the problems with dating at my age. I'm single. And because I don't think our hardwiring deals with that because again when you're procreating you're in the beginning stages and that's what your life is. It's a whole different mindset on attraction and male female dynamics than dating now when it's that's not you're not hardwired at that point to latch on to someone because it's we're not in the procreating stage and it makes attachment a lot more challenging because I think people are still looking for uh, that same feeling they got when they were in their 20s and they're dating
okay.
and yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that. So it's a difference at every age in your life.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I met my husband when I was 20 years old. So we got
Mm.
married when I was 22. So it's been, 21 years. I was like, I mean, I wouldn't even know what to do today. You
It's
know
not
what I'm
fun.
saying? Because back then, I'm saying back then, like, oh my gosh, like, back then, a guy was a certain way of a certain mindset because we didn't have social
Yeah,
media to tell you what you
right,
should be thinking. Like,
and well, and back then, the hard get back to the hard wiring, but that's the thing, and, I think back on it, and I think you would go to church dances, school dances, bars, whatever you did to
yeah,
socialize because there was no social media. You would go to those environments. Some poor soul had to pull up his bootstraps or drink down a gin and tonic or something to get the nerve to come over across the dance floor and ask you to dance. Sweet fancy Moses, can you imagine somebody doing that today? Like, no one's got the chutzpah to pull that off now, and I
yeah,
think that's the hardwiring of the pursuit of a man. That is they're conquering. That's what they are to do, and that
hmm,
swipe right now, of the dating apps and stuff is setting that up for failure because they've got, like, 7 other women down the queue. So you look at them cross right or you didn't answer the text fast enough, and they're boom, already off into the next one. Where back then, yeah, you found someone you at the dance, you danced, you had a good time, and you could hang on to that person for a long time because to
yeah,
go and find another one. So you made more sacrifices, you made more effort, and that just seems to be that has disappeared. I'm glad I'm not at the procreating stage in my life now because navigating that as a dating scene would be really difficult, again, because it's just so contrary to how we're set up mentally.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like now as, when you talk about the dating apps and all the social media things, when you have children, and this is something I talk to stay-at-home moms about, and they say they don't wanna eat the food that you cook, well, that's because you gave them too many options.
Mm,
My kids, I mean, I'll do a little tweaking, but we're not about to cook 4 whole meals or 3 whole meals. Like, this is what we're eating,
yeah,
and hopefully you learn to love it
it's
because
true.
this is what we're doing.
It's
And
true.
I don't have I don't have an issue. And even when they go out to eat and people are like, they're eating vegetables, they're doing this. And I'm like, they should be.
Mm,
it shouldn't,
yeah.
I didn't give an option of chicken nuggets. I didn't give an options of this, right?
Mhm.
So same thing with the men. When you say they go onto the dating site, they got 8 other people in the queue. That's their chicken nuggets. That's their
Mhm.
spaghetti with no sauce on it, and they're thinking,
Right.
"I'm gonna be I might be good better with this one because this immediate thing right here." I didn't even like my husband when I first met him, and it's funny because we were forced to be together
Mm.
because he didn't wanna train anybody else for my job, but my car broke down, so he had to come pick me up, which he passed by my house. Yeah. So he picked me up to keep my job. So
Oh,
guess what?
that's
I
funny.
we you have to, and also people don't want to take the time to create a bond, to
Yeah,
create that's what gets you through a lot of things.
I
Not
know.
the way you look on the outside. Sorry.
I
Because
know.
it gets ugly when you start doing all you have to have a bond.
Yeah,
That's what you do. But people don't want to take the time to do it because
I
they're
know.
saying, "I'm 52 and I ain't got time." Yes, you do. Because the time that you put in now will be the forever that you will create.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I'm not I know I don't like the dating scene. I don't like telling my story again. I just wanna get to the comfortable old shoe part. I don't like that, like, impressing part and, like, all the game playing and all the stuff that goes on. It's I don't like navigating that. That's why I'm still
Yeah,
single, I guess.
yeah, yeah. It's hard, but I don't think it's hard. Let's change that. Let's
Yeah,
not say that. It's not because you'll draw who you are to draw
yeah,
to you at
yeah,
that for what and they'll fit every part of what you want, but it's up to you to have that space for that
yeah,
person,
exactly.
right? Because if you keep saying, not you, but if a
Oh, I
person
know
keeps
what you mean.
saying, it's hard, and
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
it's
gosh,
yeah,
it's going to continue to
yeah.
be hard.
Mhm.
It's going to continue to be hard.
And I know we're kind of veering off topic, but they even say things like, um, create a side of your bed so that
Hmm.
it's inviting, that so that it's not got the remotes there, it's not got your book and your stuff and whatever, that's actually, start creating because it is a mindset. You've just invited someone, like you've made space for somebody. So there is those little things again. And I don't it's funny. I feel like I've met my person energetically. So from a energy standpoint, I've already
Hmm.
felt their presence. It's now just navigating, just taking the steps and being patient on the journey to find them in the physical. Because I do want to find a physical companion. But
Hmm.
so again, I just trust the journey and every person I meet, every encounter I have, short or long, it just opens my eyes to different aspects of a person that I want or don't, some things that I don't want. And it's been a great thing. I've only been seriously dating for a couple of years, which is a long time. But before then, I would just keep myself busy with other stuff. I didn't even try.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it may be keeping your bit self busy for you to, again, we talk about creating that space
Hmm.
for who it is. Sometimes it just takes a while because we have to have you have to kind of get through all of the things we're always thinking
Hmm.
about. No, I don't want that. His shoes are no, he got 2 left feet. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Those
Yeah.
things are minimal,
Yeah.
honestly, but they're saying, I want what I want. I need him
Mm,
to but okay, these are things you can work on, but the character, the
yes.
morals, the things like that.
It's the moral
We
thing.
can go take
Yeah.
dance classes. We can go take dance classes, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's exactly right. To have the same moral compass, I think, is one of the biggest.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, because you wanna have a purpose partner. You wanna have somebody that rolls along with you, and you have a whatever it is, it has to complement,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, I would say that you have the way that I know I attracted my husband because of my trauma, but I also laid out everything that I wanted, and I got everything that I wanted for
Mm.
the trauma, right?
Mm.
And it's like, listen, the best thing ever once when you see your work, when you see your words in motion. So I know that it will work the other way. Like if for
Yeah.
you, like I
Yeah.
hadn't done the work at 22.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my list today would be different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
not a list, but just
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know, you know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah, I
know I
do.
don't wanna get people be like, he gotta
Yeah.
have
Oh,
13,
exactly. Because the
13
the list, yeah,
figures.
over 6 feet,
So
la 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 la, all
yeah,
that
yeah,
list. Yeah,
yeah.
no, no, we're not talking about that list.
Yeah, and that wasn't even in my thing. I didn't even
Yeah.
say, like, physical attributes.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted him to be a good dad, I want him to like his mama, I want him to be able to take care of me when I'm sick.
Well, I
You know,
seen a
so
picture of your husband. He is pretty cute.
he is?
Yeah.
He's alright. No.
I saw the picture of him with your daughter. It's like,
Yes,
"Ooh,
no,
he's
yes.
fine."
Yeah, yeah, but and it's funny because everything that I asked for, he became a paramedic, so
Ah.
you know what I'm saying? So, awesome dad, I can't even man, I want him from my dad,
Oh,
but
nice.
I heal by watching him with my children
Yeah.
because I didn't have my dad, but that was
Ah.
my main healing point.
Yep.
You see, as a young girl,
It's
right?
it is true. I find it evident in so many ways the healing that needs to go on with women and their dads and men and their moms. It is evident, evident, evident. And they say your childhood traumas are going to play themselves out in your relationships. And that is 100% true. There's
Mhm.
no question about that. That is, I've seen it play out time and time again. Sadly, if I have someone who is intellectually challenged or arrested, I'll even say, and this is probably why I'm still single. When when can you remember the first childhood trauma that you had? When do you really remember a big trauma in your life? And, oh, about 12. And it's like, yeah, that about checks out. um, and yeah, so there's a lot of trauma that goes in there. I'm sure you've heard about the ACEs test and Nadine Burke Harris and Bessel
Heard
van
a little bit
Hoff.
about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's staggering really how those traumas there's science in spades about how those traumas manifest in physical and mental disease later in life
Mhm.
in a huge
I did a I apologize. Okay.
mm,
I had someone come on to my Honest Chats platform, a theta healer, and she was like, "Here we go again, abundant." She was like, "I want to give you a free theta healing session," and I'm like, "Okay." So when we did theta healing, the first thing she noticed is I had a block for healing.
mm,
And then she was like, "You don't, you're not interested, so we need to break that." So we did, and then she said, "When was the first time you felt trauma?" And I was like, "Oh, this." She was like, "Nope, it
mm.
was in the womb." And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
"What?" She was
Mm,
like, "Yep, it was
mm,
when you were a baby.
mm.
It when you were in your mom's, and then you knew that she wasn't going to keep you for long."
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, "Oh goodness, that was
yeah.
interesting." You
When
know.
you when and I think about that a lot, because when you're an infant, when you're brand new, it's all about energy. It's about
Mhm.
the energy of the mother,
Yes.
the feeling of security and safety, and the energy that goes into that bond is just so profound. So I always think that whoever didn't have that, and I'm going to say, I don't remember many warm fuzzies with my mom. Um, whoever doesn't have that, it's an abandonment wound. It's certainly a traumatic wound that needs to be
Mhm,
addressed. Where I
mhm,
think, like, if you're adopted as an infant, someone gives birth to you and you're handed right over to, while the nurse probably is a carer, there's just not that energy. There's not that bond, that energy that says, "Oh, you're so safe." Like, that has to be in spades for a being that's reliant on you. Like,
Mhm,
it just it has to be so profound as a neonate
mhm,
to be able to feel that. And
mhm.
when they don't, when that's absent, it must be, like you say, obviously profound,
Yeah,
whether it being in utero or as a brand new baby, newborn baby. There's clearly going to be a deficit if that's not felt. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Each one of my children, I know what I was doing when I had them, and they are energetically that way. I was a teacher when I had my daughter, and she's very much take charge. I was a pleaser when I had my son, and I have to tell him all the time, "Don't let nobody run over you." He's the sweetest, almost 6 foot tall 12-year-old you would get to me. Everybody talks about how nice he is, but
uh
that's because when I worked in the corporate world, I was always trying to,
oh yeah.
and I was pregnant with him. Well,
Wow.
like I said, with my daughter, I was telling people what to do. I was teaching people, and that's
Yeah.
how she is. She's
It's
more. And then my third one, I was doing events, and I was telling people, and I was out here.
oh
You
wow.
know, he's very much a ham for just talk. He's just like that. But
The
that
center
he,
of attention, like
yes,
the people at a party that people, gravitate
yeah,
to, and
he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah. Yeah.
He's the one. And it's funny, just like I said, I just realized that when you were talking, I was
Mm,
like, wow, what I was doing with each one of them in my stomach, in my whole, they became a living
yeah,
manifestation of that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
It's fascinating. I mean, I listen to podcasts a lot, and
Mhm,
just never-ending quest for knowledge. But they talk about the four quadrants of the brain, and it's true because I owned a business. I manufactured raw dog food. It was very forward thinking for its time. I started in the year 2000, so well before raw dog food was a commonplace thing. And it was tough. It was manufacturing, so there was always supply issues. There was the actual physical manufacturing of it, and it was very hands on. And it made me into a person who is totally contrary to who I am as a being. But you know how you were saying about your personality, the different parts of your personality shine depending on what your
mhm,
circumstances are dictating, and it
mhm,
really is fascinating. It's true. I actually so my husband and I broke up when I was only in my third year of owning the company, and I went on to the eHarmony. I think it was the one where they do a personality test on you.
mhm, mhm.
They didn't find me a match, and it was probably because I was
I'm
at the
sorry, I didn't laugh
oh,
because
no,
they didn't
no,
find you a match. It was actually your face. You was like, "Huh, they didn't find me a match."
I'm sure that I did the test, and they're probably like, "Girl, you need to chill out." And it's like, yep, I probably did.
Mhm,
When I think back on it now, it's like, yeah, I was just that was the height of my fight or flight life, right?
mhm, mhm.
And yeah, 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 it set the pace because it was, yeah, just all encompassing. So it's true. It's
Mhm.
it, how you are at any given time is it's dictated by your environment, and yeah,
Yeah,
imagine having a kid with
and the things
that
that are
whole
going
energy.
on around you, and the
Yeah,
things that are going on around you.
yeah.
It's just, and when I talk to people who are looking for someone, and I always tell them, you don't look for someone, you look for you. When you
Mm.
put down the things on your paper, you have to be those things. You
Well,
can't
yeah,
be asking for some kind person and you
no, and you're a
kind of
monster.
stuff is that.
That's exactly right. When I first started doing my dating searching for dating, I didn't date a lot. I sadly, I was engaged 3 times before I finally got married. So I was
Mhm.
the runaway bride, and that was just dictated because of my parents breaking up, and I didn't have a good role model for how
You know where it came from. Mhm.
yeah, 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 I sure did. Um, and so I thought I'd live the rest of my life without being attached. I thought, it's not in the cards for me. It's fine. It wasn't until later on in life that I finally thought, no, I want that for myself. I feel like I deserve it. I want it for myself. So I'm gonna go on that mission. But I forget now where I was headed with that. Oh yeah, the list. So when I first started, that's exactly right. There was someone I listened to as a podcast, and it said, write down all the things you're looking for in a partner, then go be that list. And it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly right. So that's what I did. I still have my list, and it's go be that list exactly.
Right. Because
Yeah.
it's when they say opposites attract, Okay. But like also attract like. So
Yeah. And I think the opposite,
but
it may be opposite, like you like football and I don't. Like that could be an opposite, but you're right. I think it goes
well,
back to
not for me.
again.
No, you gotta like football. We're not about to be. We're not. Yeah, and that's funny because I love football, but my husband played football, and I had dated football players, and it's funny when that came together. So we can sit down, and I love my daughter loves football, so it's like we're
Mm,
happy, like living life over here when football
yeah.
season is in. And I do know with the opposite thing, you also have to be the opposite for that person and their trauma, as they have to be
Mm,
the opposite for you, because I
mm,
can't get another person with some of the things like me. I'm like, let's spend it all. And my
yeah.
husband's like, "Oh, let's budget, let's do
Yeah.
this."
Yeah.
Now, where I have had open the space, and this is where I see a lot with other people, like the women who want these certain type of men, if he says we're not spending it, and I'm like, yes, we are, they would go out and spend it.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You didn't create the space for the man that you, and he's the
yeah.
perfect one for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're blinded by
Yeah.
whatever makes you want to go spend it. You got to realize, got to know
Yeah.
what that is.
It's true. It's funny. I just posted on Facebook today, because it's Valentine's Day, and it seems to be true in a lot of senses that many women create men who they actually dislike. They probably started out
Oh,
as good partners, and just through that stuff, just through the stuff that goes on, I feel like women beat down men. Not physically so much, but yeah, and end up creating men. They'll then create a man that they don't like anymore.
well, and then they don't really know what they want because, like I said, they're so busy looking at um, these people on TV and their lifestyles and their
Mhm.
things on the social media. You don't even really know what you want. And
Yeah,
when somebody asks you what you want, it's like, I think I want him to do, and then you don't know what's important. Like I think if you do have a man that's making 40 grand and he gets with you, you're gonna upgrade him. You're gonna be
yeah,
like, if that's you understand, you know what I'm saying? Because that's
yeah,
your power.
yeah.
Hey, how about we start a business? But have you ever thought about going back to school? And he
Mm,
could do that with you. But that's that bond I was talking about.
yeah.
Like you have to create something stronger than what you don't want.
Yeah, that's true.
Because as soon
Yeah,
as it comes out, you're gonna be like, that's why I'm not with him today, because he didn't tie his shoes with his right hand. You know what I'm saying? It's just really, really small things.
yeah,
And with your power, aren't you a super? Women
yeah,
are women are master manifestors.
yeah, they are. I always say I don't know if I'm a master manifester or extremely intuitive because
No, you're a master manifester.
yeah.
Look back on all the things that you talked
Oh,
about,
I know.
and it happened.
Mhm.
So if you get somebody that's working and contributing to the household, and you tell them, you know, I like the 40,000, not even saying it like that. I mean, it's ways to approach things that make it
Mm,
seem like it's their idea. I know you like this
mhm,
job, but have you ever thought about promoting?
mhm.
Look at this. You can
Yeah,
do this. I'll
yeah,
help you study.
yeah, yeah,
But then they're like, we don't want a project. Guess what? It's your project. But then the fear, I can talk about this all day. Then the fear sets in saying, oh, I'm going to build him up
yeah.
and then he's going to leave me and go to somebody else.
Oh, I know.
Again,
Yeah,
you're manifesting that.
yeah,
And then I'll say, I want it. It's going to always, again, I could say the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah. It's so true, and I've never understood that too because it's like, and if it happens, it happens. You can't be fretting about that. Like clawing on and being latching on with the death grip is not going to prevent it from happening. So
Mhm.
let's just all live our life to the best.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
specific. That's why I say you can't base your life, you can't base what you want off of what other people are doing out there.
Mm,
You are specific. You need a specific need, and it's nobody else's business what you need
mhm.
or what is going to help you and you guys help each other. Because that's what it's all about. You look
Yeah.
at you. That guy comes
Yeah.
into your house, it's going to be a direct reflection of you. So how can we make each other better? I don't care what y'all think.
It's funny. I think it was Chris Williamson. He was, doing a podcast, and someone I don't remember who came up with these questions, but the question one of the questions was about partners, and one of the questions was, if someone said, "You're exactly like your partner," would that be a compliment to you? And the answer should be yes.
Well,
But
it's a compliment to me because
yeah,
I do
yeah. So
like
so if it's not a compliment to you, then that's like strike number 1, that you're not probably with the right person, right?
probably not, or you
Yeah.
hide them, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, Florence Scovel Shand Talks, she was one of the
yeah.
first books that I got, and, whenever I meet people, her book is, like, probably about $6, but you can listen to it
Mm,
online, and I always turn them on to her because most people are, in a religious base, and she uses that word, the word of God to let you know that these things can be true
mhm,
in your life. Now, if you're not, it's still really good to listen to
mhm.
because it teaches you, when she talks about your word is your wand and you
Yeah,
being able to unlock the door of success, not just for your business, but for your whole life. If you practice those things, but that's all about doing the work on yourself.
mhm,
And people are so concerned with time for some reason. Um,
mhm,
it really is not a factor. It's not a
mhm.
factor. You control more than you think you do.
Yeah,
If I could sit here and tell you that my aunt chose to leave,
yeah, yeah,
you can choose to live.
yeah,
Period.
yep, yeah,
But
yeah. There was a time when I wasn't exactly enthralled with life on this planet. But
mhm.
that certainly has changed a lot, and it's crazy that it's changed, and the times now are even more troubling than they were when I wasn't too happy with the planet. But again, it's I choose to see what I want to see, the planet I want to live in, not what exists through fear
Absolutely.
and yeah,
Absolutely. I don't know what's going on out there,
yeah,
honestly. And if it's something that needs for me, my attention, it'll come to me.
yeah, yeah.
You
That's
know what I'm
exactly right.
saying?
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. So that ain't
That's
none of
it.
my business what's going on
Yep,
wherever it's going on because I
yep,
can't do nothing about it anyway.
yep.
Like what I'm a march for. A lot of listen. A lot of people don't like that, but again, what am I? What has that helped?
Hmm.
Like, look at your history.
Yeah,
Look at the history of a lot of things. Has that helped?
yeah,
No, it hasn't. The only thing that helped is what Michael Jackson said, starting with the man in the mirror,
yep,
because then you can create your world, and then you can help other people
yep. Exactly.
if they want to.
Yep, yep.
No, I'm not
And
gonna fight you.
yeah, 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 that's exactly right too. I'm not here to change your mind, yeah,
Nope.
it's there for you when you're ready.
I'm not here to debate about what you
Yeah,
believe in, what I believe
yeah,
in, because
yeah,
if you believe that peach soda heal you, you
mm,
go ahead and you drink that peach soda because that
yeah,
peach soda is gonna heal you because you
eh,
said so.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the way I feel about homeopathy. It's like if those little pillules heal you, great, and
Yeah,
if people are like, "It's just your mind," it's like, "Then that's fine."
yeah. You can do it without it. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's an
yeah,
I love holistic healing too,
yeah,
and
me
I
too.
make my teas for overall health, and I sell them, and they're
Oh,
like, "What does this do?" It do what you tell it to do. Water circulates on the
mm,
planet. Talk to your water, talk to whatever you drink, and tell it what to do when you drink it.
yeah,
And
yeah, there's
I'll be like, it's just that simple, but until you try it.
mm. Well, they even now I'm paraphrasing and I don't know exactly, but I remember there were studies about water and vibration
Mhm.
and yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
It's true about anything. I've been trying to talk to look, I want to show you my little money plan.
Well, I just was listening to they did a study about a plant, and some people they did had two different things, and so one group would come in and they would talk lovingly to their plant and just tell them what a wonderful plant it was, doing the same watering and everything. And the other group of people would come in and say, you're a stupid, worthless plant. You do nothing but drop leaves and stuff. And literally, the plants that were talked positively to were flourishing, and the ones that were talked negatively to were not. Full
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
It's
I'm
like
really happy with that.
it's
Even though it looks a little sick, I killed the first one. So that This one has been with me for almost 2 years, and I'm like, "I must be doing something right
At least it's
because
alive.
a new little green leaf grew." It's a process. It's a
Yeah,
process, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it goes so with, how, as it is
Mhm.
above below and with
Yeah,
within without.
yeah,
So I'm like, that money tree is a direct reflection
yeah.
of
It's
how I
like it's your vision board almost.
Yes, yes, but I'm very even though it looks a little like it's tired of being here, um, I'm glad it survived like this
Eh,
long.
at least it's not dead. So, yes, it is. I
Mhm.
thoroughly enjoyed our chat today.
Yes, that's what's good.
This exceeded my expectations.
Oh, well, great. I always tell people, y'all listen, I'm amazing. I gotta think of myself like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm amazing. And
Yeah,
I'm a great person to know. So
you
y'all have
are.
to
Absolutely,
show.
you are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, you can anytime you have my stuff, and then I'll give you. And then when I send you my email, you can email me anytime too.
Okay, good.
That's probably the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay,
All
great.
right, it's been
Thank you
great.
so much.
Thank
Good
you so
talking to you.
much. You have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Mhm.